It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
A 2022 interview from Justin Bieber has resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's legal drama. In the sit-down with Zane Lowe 4 years ago, Justin isn't talking about the disgraced media mogul directly, but his past trauma in the music industry, his album changes, and being a newlywed to wife Haley.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Talk of the video comes after footage of Diddy and Justin also resurfaced on social media recently.
Not anyone could just be in the position that I'm in.
Video shows Diddy alongside teenage Justin, leaving people to speculate if, at the time, he subjected the pop star to his alleged freak-offs.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Really excited to have babies with you, enjoy, just celebrate, all the amazing things that we've been given. Because we are blessed, babe. We are, man. There's so much pain in the world, and we don't understand why, and there's so much things that are so unexplainable, but what is the reality? We are blessed,
So for me, I had struggled with depression for so long. Crippling depression.
Can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs and little tape recorders. Little those micro.
Jaguar Wright.
Their good friend who.
Bilal told me, Jaden. He told me that you knew Will was f***ing your child. Yes, he did. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview.
Yeah, in that interview, he said a lot. He said
everything but the thing that was important. That he know that Will Smith, Jaden, he ran Neat Mills, and you know it, Bilal. Now you know how far in the desert you run. You'll go from a Philly to a sand, they'll still get you.
He's Philly though, Jay. Philly.
He Meek Milk. As far as I'm concerned, he Meek Milk. I ain't calling him Mill no more, that's milk. That's Meek Milk. Added to the honeycomb. You got a meal.
So you believe the Dwayne Martin story, that could happen?
Of course. Everybody know that shit. Everybody knew they was, just ain't nobody know Dwayne was folding him over like that, taking him to Pantown. And all these black running around marrying these, sitting there convincing other women to go chase a fag. Go get you. Look at my isn't he? Can you imagine if he's told the truth? You stand on red carpets with and you sell an image of lies. Then you influence the public and ask the public to covet and want your life. Who wants that? Who jealous of that? Bunch of whack too afraid to find a real man and real love. So you marry a get for a Birkin bag and then turn your head while he's getting a bunch of kids. I don't feel sorry for none of you. Don't y'all sit around writing your books telling your sob stories.
And it was Jaden Pickett. But
You saying that, you saying the whole party was weird. What did you see at the party that made it weird? I mean, I'm confused.
I guess it was Illuminati. It's just weird. I know I wouldn't want to be part of it like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm from the old school, dude, and that shit wasn't really tolerated with my generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hate crime, yes, but it's more tolerated these days and nothing like that. It's more, you know what I'm saying, more open now, you know what I'm saying? But back then it was kind of fishy, you know what I'm saying? Still kind of fishy, you know, but it's more, you know, out there now.
The incident y'all had with Warren G and Kid Frost, tell me about that, my man.
Okay, Kid Frost had gave a party at the House of Blues. One of our big homeboys wanted to go with us, you know what I'm saying? So he went with us and he said, "Ooh, you got fun." So one of Kid Frost's homies still on my big homie.
This doesn't look good for Will Smith, as Diddy's
speaking on it right now. He'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, "Yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ say that he never did this and he never did that, but ain't this you?" If those pictures or those films or anything like that exists. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who are his celebrity friends is going to speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
Lil Rob said in his affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs and little tape recorders. I mean, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man, all kind of crazy shit. Bruh. They just wondering who or when they're gonna let this stuff be known. But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities gonna be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there. Hallelujah. That's crazy.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statement are true, they got him. They got tapes and stuff.
What if a single hard drive hidden behind a velvet-paneled wall in a Bel Air mansion could sink half of Black Hollywood in one click? What if that drive held midnight footage of billion-dollar celebrities, crooked politicians, panicked CEOs, and wide-eyed newcomers, all caught in moments they'd pay any price to erase? That's the storm now, spiraling around Sean Diddy Combs. And the fallout is splattering everyone in his orbit, from OG whistleblower Jaguar Wright to industry royalty. Will Smith and his family, federal agents and windbreakers, had barely stepped off Diddy's Miami dock when rumors sprinted across the internet. They're after the tapes. Homeland Security vans boxed in both his mansions, snatching hard drives, phones, and DVRs, while the mogul's legal team scrambled to seal lips and shred NDAs. If half the whispers are true, if blackmail minicams really watched every bedroom and billiards table, then careers, marriages, and even presidencies could hang on whatever the feds just copied. This isn't a gossip reel, it's a widening criminal probe stacked on bombshell civil suits, each one naming new A-listers and darker allegations. Producer Rodney Lill. Rod Jones claims he filmed everything drugged. Minors pay for play. Politicians' backroom auditions that turn stomachs. Singer Cassie's lawsuit cracked the glass, but Jones claims he's holding the sledgehammer. Meanwhile, veteran vocalist Jaguar Wright keeps jabbing at the bruise swearing. Will Smith's name floats in Diddy's archive next to tape label words like "freak off." And that's before we even reach the Smith kids' psychedelic confessions or yacht deck assaults pinned on Diddy's own air. So pour a strong drink or herbal tea, if that's more your vibe, and lean in. Because each chapter you're about to hear peels back another layer of power, privilege, and pay-to-play manipulation. And just when you think we've hit the rotten core, we'll find a deeper wormhole waiting.
I love Justin Bieber, that's just a fact.
Well, talk about brotherly love. You couldn't miss this moment on your feeds, Justin Bieber giving pal Jaden Smith a kiss on the cheek at Coachella.
I'm having a good time.
The now viral video shows Jaden sneaking up from behind the beads, grabbing his waist for a little dance, and then there's this, Justin sweetly giving his bro a kiss, something that's become the talk of the internet.
He's really just like a brother to me.
Yeah, these two go way back.
Guess who? J Smith and JB. I got you, little bro.
That's 16-year-old Justin and 11-year-old Jaden when they collaborated on the pop star's 2010 song, Never Say Never.
I think that it's cool to just collaborate with people who you know.
Which was also the theme song for Jaden's film, The Karate Kid.
I will never say never, never say never.
I've gotten to a place where I have like a core group and people who are really supporting me and encouraging me, and I never had that before. You know, I never created those type of relationships, so now it feels like I have so much.
I honestly just love him and like what he's doing, like, and the amount of change he's been able to make in the world is just insane.
Jaguar Wright has always spoken like a match looking for gasoline, but her 2024 livestream series turned the whole industry into Tinder. She claimed Diddy outfitted every guest suite with pinhole cameras, microphones, and motion trigger recorders, then dangled that footage whenever leverage was needed. According to Jaguar, Will Smith showed up at least once, guided through hallways where expensive art covered hidden lens holes, unaware that midnight moments might someday become 4K ransom chips. She didn't stop there. Everybody knew she hissed naming R&B crooners, comedy kings, and the quiet billionaires who bankroll Grammy parties. She doubled down on long murmured gossip that actor Dwayne Martin once folded Will in a hidden bungalow, echoing a rumor first dragged into light by ex-gangster Keefe D. Jaguar's point wasn't prudish. It was about hypocrisy, how sanitized talk show smiles mask dangerous backroom power plays. And in her version, Diddy kept every secret on disc, like a Wall Street stock option, hold wait, sell when useful. Most shrugged off her monologue as conspiracy crackle until flashing blue lights at Diddy's gates made even skeptics reload her clips. Because talk may be cheap, but federal warrants. Those cost real money and even realer fear. But rumors alone can't break empires. Agents need evidence, and the hunt for tapes has just begun.
Life is hard, you know, we all go through things, you know what I'm saying? But the difference between other people is that no one knows about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really difficult for people like Justin, for me, for all types of people in the limelight.
Justin and Jaden clearly unapologetic about the bond they've created over the years.
On Thailand's The Woody Show, and during the interview, Papa Smith planted a wet one right on Jaden's lips.
Kiss my son. Come on.
When we said we wanted to bring him to the table, I was like, well, what do you want to talk about? He said, mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
The magic kind, of course.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith joins his mom, Jada Pinkett Smith, and grandma, Adrienne Banfeld Norris, on Red Table Talk. And they're talking magic mushrooms, people.
But since it's my mom, it's like, it's my mom. We're working together.
On the latest episode of the Facebook Watch series, the fam talks about the plant medicine that some say is a miracle treatment for mental health.
I was introduced to plant medicine 10 years ago to deal with my depression, and it knocked it out.
Something Jada says she can speak to from personal experience.
What it does, unlike just going to therapy and putting people on Prozac, right? Which I did that too. Which that is not successful for so many people. And that's the thing. So for me, I had struggled with depression for so long. Crippling depression. So the thing about the plant medicine is that not only does it help you feel better, but it helps you solve the problems of how you got there in the first place.
As for Jaden, he says recent studies that touted mushrooms as one of the most significant advances in treating depression over more traditional antidepressants inspired his use of psychedelics.
Jaguar Wright has always spoken like a match looking for gasoline, but her 2024 livestream series turned the whole industry into Tinder. She claimed Diddy outfitted every guest suite with pinhole cameras, microphones, and motion trigger recorders, then dangled that footage whenever leverage was needed. According to Jaguar, Will Smith showed up at least once, guided through hallways where expensive art covered hidden lens holes, unaware that midnight moments might someday become 4K ransom chips. She didn't stop there. Everybody knew she hissed naming R&B crooners, comedy kings, and the quiet billionaires who bankroll Grammy parties. She doubled down on long murmured gossip that actor Dwayne Martin once folded Will in a hidden bungalow, echoing a rumor first dragged into light by ex-gangster Keefe D. Jaguar's point wasn't prudish. It was about hypocrisy, how sanitized talk show smiles mask dangerous backroom power plays. And in her version, Diddy kept every secret on disc, like a Wall Street stock option, hold wait, sell when useful. Most shrugged off her monologue as conspiracy crackle until flashing blue lights at Diddy's gates made even skeptics reload her clips. Because talk may be cheap, but federal warrants. Those cost real money, and even realer fear. But rumors alone can't break empires. Agents need evidence, and the hunt for tapes has just begun.
I want to go back to this lawsuit, right? By Cassie.
Life is hard, we all go through things, but the difference between other people is that no one knows about it. And it's really difficult for people like Justin, for me, for all types of people in the limelight.
Justin and Jaden clearly unapologetic about the bond they've created over the years.
On Thailand, The Woody Show, and during the interview, Papa Smith planted a wet one right on Jaden's lips.
Kiss my son. Come on.
When we said we wanted to bring him to the table, I was like, well, what do you want to talk about? He said, mushrooms.
Yeah.
The magic kind, of course.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith joins his mom, Jada Pinkett Smith, and grandma, Adrienne Banfeld Norris, on Red Table Talk, and they're talking magic mushrooms, people.
But since it's my mom, it's like, it's my mom. We're working together.
On the latest episode of the Facebook Watch series, the fam talks about the plant medicine that some say is a miracle treatment for mental health.
I was introduced to plant medicine 10 years ago to deal with my depression, and it knocked it out.
Something Jada says she can speak to from personal experience.
What it does, unlike just going to therapy and putting people on Prozac, right? Which I did that too. Which that is not successful for so many people. And that's the thing. So for me, I had struggled with depression for so long. Crippling depression. So the thing about the plant medicine is that not only does it help you feel better, but it helps you solve the problems of how you got there in the first place.
As for Jaden, he says recent studies that touted mushrooms as one of the most significant advances in treating depression over more traditional antidepressants inspired his use of psychedelics.
March 25th, 2024, 7:02 a.m. Los Angeles neighbors. Near Diddy's Holmby Hills estate, woke to rotor wash and bullhorns. Simultaneously, another strike team hit Star Island in Miami. The agency in charge wasn't local Vice, but Homeland Security Investigations, the same unit that dismantles trafficking rings and seizes cartel cash. Official statements were thin, but insiders leaked one electrifying line: digital media devices of evidentiary value. Social feeds went feral. Were agents copying Veride? party reels, or scanning for encrypted burner drives. Paparazzi lenses caught evidence bags bulging with servers. GoPros and what looked like mini DV tape cases, a format popular right when Diddy's parties peaked. The question echoing across Reddit: what crimes need 3-inch cassettes for proof? Enter Rodney Lil Rod Jones. The Texas-born videographer had sued Diddy a month earlier, alleging he spent 4 years filming an eyes-wide-shut pipeline of forced acts, spiked cocktails, and hush money payoffs. Jones told the court he'd stashed copies for safety, and that feds had already contacted him. Whether that prompted the raids or merely guided them, the timing landed like a cymbal crash. And then there's the jaw-dropper line from Jones's filing defendants, utilized recorded material to intimidate witnesses and coerce compliance, translation, real-world blackmail built into the business model. But lawsuits do more than expose. They pull new names into the splash zone.
But I want to go back to this lawsuit, right, by Cassie. She claims that, she hid out at a friend house in Florida after, Diddy put hands on her. And she said that she was tracked down by a guy named James Cruz, the president of Bad Boy Management. You know anything about that?
James Cruz and Hard Pierre always been Diddy's flunkies, especially Hard Pierre. That's why he's being sued right now too by one of his assistants and stuff like that, because I guess he learned from his boss. But James Cruz used to work for 50, but he worked for Diddy first. So them niggas was always scumbuckets, man.
Right. But speaking of Harvey Pierre, how do you feel about him getting accused of sexual assault?
Like I said, anything that has to do with those sexual assaults, those people have to prove that. But are they capable? Yeah, they're capable. Look at the atmosphere. They in the music industry. They in the music business. They set up those type of, they learn the tricks of the trade. For instance, guys don't put those pills that they get to the girls in the champagne bottles because they popping them in front of them. Most of those girls, especially if they like mixed drinks, you understand, they see the bottles when they open them. And they trying to keep their eyes on because they don't want to get no kind of drugs put in their system. But what they don't understand is in the orange juice and it's in the cranberry juice. They done put the pills and the stuff in there, the roofies, the X, all whatever they put it in the juice. Now, those girls who like the mixed drinks, you understand what I'm saying? They gonna pour their own back because they don't understand it ain't in the bottles, it's in the juice. Those guys, they learn that and they put it to those girls who don't know no better.
Right, I got you. But looking at this lawsuit, right, Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy, he'll put his hands on him. But, when he'll put his hands on him, he'll disguise it as horseplay. But he felt like Diddy was trying to groom him, in a sense.
Well, with the horseplay situation, I used to see him do that with certain women. You understand? When he was mad, upset, or he was too old for this, but he would do that play fighting shit. You understand? So I can imagine him play fighting with Lil Rod. Because, a lot of people can say what they want to say about Diddy. He got a knuckle game. He will fight you. You know what I'm saying? You his size, you understand something like that? Around your size, something like that, he would fight you. He had a knuckle game. He wasn't that dude that, like, people try to say he was some old scared ass nigga. Nah, he would fight you. You understand? So I could see with a person like Lil Rod, he probably was roughing him up, grabbing him, groping him. You know what I'm saying? acting like he playing with him, but he actually want him to do what he want him to do. So, like I said before, that he did in the past. So when I read it from Lil Rod, I see he's doing the same shit he's doing in the future. He used to play fight with the pillows, like the pillow fight, that dumb shit like that. You know, that's kid shit to me. But if that's the way they do it, that's the way they do. You understand? He used to do it with Kim all the time.
So the horseplay was his way of grooming you in a sense.
Well, that grooming, that's some new shit. You know what I'm saying? We didn't call that, we didn't call it grooming back then. That his horseplay was a way of letting you know I could really hurt you if I wanted to. You get it? I could really hurt you. And that's what that kid probably felt. Yo, why he doing me like that? Oh, he just playing with you. No, he was letting you know, if I turn this up, I could really hurt you.
And that was his way of trying to get you to be submissive to him.
Right. He's letting you know, he's putting into your mind, listen here, bro. He's trying to put in his mind, we're playing now. But if I really want to turn this stuff on you, it's on. You ain't got no wins. So that kid is feeling, yo, listen here. In his mind, if you read the documents, in his mind, he was so scared that when he went to other people in the camp and said, why did he treat me? Why did he doing this and doing that? They said, oh, he just playing with you because he love you. He like you. He was, no, he was trying to put that, instill that fear in you that he had in you.
Also, you know, alleging that he met Cuban Gooding Jr. through Diddy on Diddy Yacht. And it even got to a point where he started touching him on his, you know, upper inner thigh near his groin, according to him.
Did you see the picture?
Nah, I didn't get to see it, but
oh my God. Yo, listen to me, man. I don't know if it was what they call it when you take two pictures and they put it together, you know, like that. What they call it when they put the pictures together and it don't belong together, but they put it together. Whatever.
Side by side.
Yeah, whatever they call that. Cuban Gooding Jr. was so close to that man. I would thought that was his lady. That's how close he was to him. And then his hands all on his leg and everything. It was crazy, bro. I don't even believe that. So when you see Cuban Gooding fighting a case here in New York, when he said the girl was saying that he was groping her and everything like that, I'm glad they didn't show that picture at his trial. Because he would have been guilty. That's how close he was to that kid, man.
So you seeing on pictures, do you believe his claims?
Yeah, I believe his claims. If somebody put something in Cuban Gooding Jr. ear that this was fresh meat, or see can you break him, or see can you...
And before Diddy's arrest, Cassie Ventura's November 2023